Post-contract survival guide, when the dream house becomes the nightmare. Welcome back. Today we're diving deep into a topic that most people completely overlook. You spend months, maybe years researching suburbs, saving for your deposit, haggling with agents, and finally, that magical moment happens. Your offer is accepted. You feel on top of the world. You've won. You celebrate. But I'm here to tell you something critical. Acceptance isn't the finish line. It's the starting gun for the most dangerous, complex, and potentially costly phase of your property journey. In fact, for many first-time investors and owner-occupiers, the moment that contract is signed is not the start of a beautiful dream, it's the beginning of a costly, high-stakes nightmare if you don't know the rules. Today, we're giving you the ultimate post-contract survival guide, breaking down the process from the handshake to the keys, and revealing the hidden traps that can cost you your deposit, your time, and your sanity. Ready to secure your investment? Let's jump in. 1. The offer. More than just a number. Before we even talk about post-contract, we have to talk about the offer itself. Because in the world of property, that offer is not like buying produce at the market. It's not a verbal quote you can walk away from simply because the seller agrees to your lower price. The legal weight of your signature. In Australia, especially, your written offer to purchase is often a binding legal document, a contract. You are not just making a suggestion. You are formally stating the price and all the conditions under which you agree to buy the property. I've had clients come to me, panicked, saying, I just wanted to see if they'd accept it. I didn't think it was final. They had signed the offer and they were having second thoughts. I tell them, immediately instruct your solicitor or conveyance lawyer to officially withdraw the offer by email before the seller has a chance to sign it. Once the seller signs your offer, the contract is legally binding, and your life just got a whole lot more complicated. The 3 outcomes of an offer. When you submit an offer, the seller has 3 ways to respond. Acceptance. Yes, congratulations. The contract is immediately formed. But be warned, if it was too easy, did you pay too much? I once saw a buyer overpay by $150,000 to $200,000 simply because they were so eager to secure a deal and had a high budget. Don't let emotion override valuation. Counteroffer. The seller says, we like the buyer but not the terms. They might demand a higher price or a shorter settlement period, for example, 30 days instead of your requested 90 days. This creates a negotiation loop. You can accept, reject, or counteroffer back. This is more common in balanced markets, as hot sellers markets prefer blind bidding or auctions. Rejection. No straight up, no deal. They may try to use ambiguity - my vendor is still deciding, or I can't get hold of them. This is usually a soft rejection because they want you to come back with a higher number without revealing the price they truly want. The takeaway. Everything is negotiable in property. Never assume a term or price is final. The double offer danger, a critical warning. If you submit an offer on property A and hear nothing back for a couple of days, do not then submit an offer on property B. This is a catastrophic mistake. If both sellers suddenly accept and sign your offers, you are now legally obligated to buy 2 properties. If you lose confidence in an offer, you must formally withdraw it in writing to the agent before offering on another property. Better yet, ensure your offer has an expiry time limit built in, for example. This offer is valid for 48 hours only. This forces the seller to act and protects you from passive, indefinite liability. 2. Phase 1. The settlement period, 45 to 60 days of high risk. Once the contract is signed, you enter the settlement period, typically 45 to 60 days, though this is variable. Your key responsibilities now fall into 3 critical buckets. A. The deposit, the first payment. You must pay the deposit, usually 5% to 10% of the purchase price, immediately, or the contract may be voided by the seller. This demonstrates your commitment. The deposit size can signal your seriousness. Say, 10% deposit looks much stronger than a token $1,000. The major trap. If you sign a contract without protective clauses, like subject to finance or a cooling off period, and you fail to settle, you lose your deposit. Worse, if the seller is forced to resell the property at a lower price, you may be liable to pay the difference in price to the seller. Don't just lose $50,000, lose $50,000 and still owe the seller $100,000 more. B. Securing finance, subject to finance. This is the lifeline for most buyers. If the contract is subject to finance, it means your purchase is conditional on your bank formally approving the full loan amount. State differences. Be aware that in a highly competitive market like NSW, sellers often ignore offers with finance clauses, preferring cash or unconditional buyers. However, in states like Queensland, Western Australia, and South Australia, including a finance clause is standard and expected. The power of the clause. If your loan falls through, for example, you change jobs, and your income profile changes, this clause allows you to safely exit the contract and recover your full deposit. Never compromise this if you are not 100% pre-approved. C. The Inspection Trilogy, building, pest, and title. As soon as the contract is signed and the deposit is paid, you must arrange your professional inspections. These inspections are your final protection against buying a lemon. Building and pest. This is a non-negotiable step that should be performed by qualified professionals, ideally those who are also licensed builders, as they have a deeper understanding of construction integrity. This costs a few $100s, but it can save you tens of thousands. You must look beyond cosmetic issues and focus on structural and major safety defects, for example, roof leaks, structural cracks, termites. The negotiation window. If the inspection report finds a major, unexpected issue, you have two courses of action, depending on the contract terms. Terminate. You can legally exit the contract and get your deposit back, if the clause is structured to your satisfaction. Renegotiate. You can use the repair costs as leverage to ask the seller for a price reduction, a discount, or demand that the seller fixes the defect before settlement. We once secured a significant discount for a client because of a required roof repair. Don't leave money on the table. Always try to negotiate a repair credit. Due diligence checklist. Separately, your solicitor or conveyancer will conduct a full due diligence check on the property itself. This includes reviewing critical disclosure documents like the Section 32 statement in Victoria or the disclosure statement in NSW, which contain information on town planning, easements, rights of way, council rates, drainage, and strata issues. You need to know what future zoning changes might impact your property or if your neighbor has the right to run their water pipes through your yard. 3. The finance final boss. Valuation. The bank's opinion. Your bank is not going to lend you money until they are sure the property is worth what you paid for it. This is where the bank sends out an independent valuer. The valuation types. Computer valuation. Used for standard properties where the price is considered reasonable compared to recent sales. No visit required. Curbside valuation. The valuer drives by, takes pictures, and assesses the external condition and surrounding street. Full internal valuation. The valuer goes inside the property to assess the condition, features, and layout. The shortfall trap. Let's say you bought the property for $1 million, and you need an 80% loan, $800,000. If the valuer agrees the price is $1 million, you get your $800,000 loan. But what if the valuer says the property is only worth $950,000? The bank will only lend you 80% of their valuation, which is $760,000. This creates a $40,000 shortfall, $800,000 needed, $760,000 approved, that you must now pay out of your own pocket. If you don't have this extra cash and you have a subject to finance clause, this is your safety exit. If you waive this clause and the valuation comes in low, you are stuck. You have to find a shortfall money or forfeit your deposit and potentially face the seller's claim for damages. The pro tip. Savvy investors buy properties based on an accurate understanding of the valuation process, making sure they don't overpay in the first place. 4. Final countdown. Pre-settlement inspection, the forgotten step. You passed inspections, finance is approved, the money is ready. You're 2 weeks from settlement. Many buyers sit back and relax. Don't. This is the stage to perform your pre-settlement inspection. Why this is non-negotiable. The purpose of this final visit is simple: to ensure the property you are about to pay for is in the same condition as when you signed the contract. In the 45 to 60 days between signing and settling, a lot can happen. The seller could have moved out and accidentally damaged a wall or a floor. The seller could have failed to complete promised repairs, for example, fixing an appliance or a structural issue. Catastrophic damage could have occurred, a pipe burst, a small fire. If you don't check, you are buying the property as it stands on settlement day. If the house is damaged, the problem is now yours to fix. The pre-settlement checklist. Verify repairs. Check that all promised repairs from the inspection negotiation have been completed by licensed tradespeople. Check inclusions. Ensure all agreed-upon fittings, fixtures, and appliances are present and working, stoves, dishwashers, air conditioners, etc. Look for damage. Inspect for new damage, holes, stains, broken glass that didn't exist at the time of purchase. Dealing with unresolved issues. If you find an issue, for instance, a burst water heater that needs immediate repair, do not settle until it is resolved. You can use your lawyer to negotiate one of two solutions. Repair holdback. Most common, you agree to settle, but your lawyer withholds an amount, for example, $10,000 for a $5,000 repair from the seller's proceeds. The money is held in trust until the seller provides proof of repair, usually within 7 to 14 days. If they fail to fix it, you get the money and you can organize the repair yourself. Price reduction. Negotiate a final, immediate discount on the price to compensate you for the repair cost. This is your final, best chance to resolve any issues while you still have control of the money. 5. Settlement day and beyond, the real finish line. If all goes well, you and the seller's lawyers will coordinate the transfer of funds and title, known as settlement. The bank electronically transfers the loan funds. Your lawyer transfers your deposit and any remaining balance. The property title is officially transferred to your name. Congratulations! The contract is finally complete. The agent will then be authorized to hand over the keys. Take them immediately. This is the moment the property becomes yours, and you are now officially responsible for it. The next steps for investors. For investors, the work isn't over. You need to immediately notify the local council and utilities of the change of ownership. Ensure landlord insurance is active from the moment of settlement. If the property is tenanted, coordinate with your property manager to assume control of the lease and bond. Conclusion: the post-contract mindset. The biggest mistake a buyer makes is getting excited and passive after the offer is accepted. They think the agent or lawyer will handle everything. But the agent works for the seller, and your lawyer can only act on the information you provide. Your role in the post-contract phase is one of vigilance and active management. Don't sign without understanding every clause. Don't rely on verbal promises, get it in writing. Always leverage your inspection rights to negotiate for better terms. By treating the post-contract phase with the seriousness it deserves, you transition from an excited buyer to a smart, protected investor. You secure not just a house, but a true wealth-accelerating asset, without the hidden costs and sleepless nights. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us.